Hey everybody, it is Russ Shaw coming at you from the Pacific Northwest with another dash cam session. That's right. Today I wanted to talk about our thought life and how important it is to think about how we react in our thought life and how we feel when certain thoughts come up. I've been studying and researching cognitive therapy, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy. It's very interesting to me. And I heard these guys talking on the radio about the stock market. And I used to do some dabbling in the stock market. I traded some stocks when I had money. Did some stock options as well, buying calls and puts and things like that. But the funny thing about the stock market is it's a very emotional place, you know. It's a financial place where you invest money, but it's not all about numbers and logic. And anybody who says that is off their rocker a little bit, you know. It is very emotional. The guy was talking about this metaphor. He said, you imagine like a herd of gazelles on the Serengeti, and one gazelle decides to run in one direction as fast as he can, and all the other gazelles, well, he must know something I don't, or, you know, boom, and they run in that direction too. Whether it's fear, or maybe there's water over there, or maybe there's a lion in the bushes, boom, everybody's running towards that direction. That's very much the way the stock market moves. He was also talking about Ford, you know, that the Ford stock, like back during 2008 when everything just crashed here in the United States and abroad, the whole world was in an economic mess. But back in 2008 when the companies were asking the federal government for bailouts, basically corporate welfare, to keep themselves alive, one company, car company, didn't, and that was the Ford Motor Company, that's done very well for, you know, over 100 years, and they didn't ask for money. So, but their stock got plummeted, they got pummeled and hit, just like every other automotive stock, because everybody thought, well, the car industry is going down the tubes. Well, guess what? People are still going to be driving cars, right? We're still going to need cars, still going to have to drive them. It's the way things are. So if you would have bought Ford stock when it got hit really hard, I think it was like $2.60 a share, and that's what this gentleman was sharing. He was talking about, he said, if I would have, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I should have bought more, you know? And hindsight is 20/20. That's something my stockbroker told me. And he says, hey, Russ, you know, I want to teach about this stuff. Stock options are very risky. And one of the things that you need to learn to discipline yourself is not to think like that. Like hindsight's 20/20. Stop dwelling on, stop spending your emotional energy on things that have happened in the past. Because the past is gone. It's water under the bridge. You need to think about and focus on what's going to happen in the future. Because you hear everybody say things like, oh, if I would have just had, you know, 10 shares of Microsoft in 1985. Well, guess what? In 1985, nobody knew what Microsoft was going to do. We know now, you know. But again, hindsight's 20/20. Woulda, coulda, shoulda is a horrible place to spend our mental energy. And it's the same thing, with a relapse, all right, from sexual addiction. You relapse and you spend all this time in shame and what did I do, you know, what coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know, that kind of thing. And honestly, the best place to spend your focused mental energy on is what I could do, right? What I could do better next time. How can I change the way I think? Where are my thoughts dwelling? If you chase sexually explicit thoughts, it's like breadcrumbs from down a trail. It's going to go to the next one. It's going to go to the next one. It's like that metaphor I use in the podcast where a fiery arrow hits a carpet or hay, and it just starts to spread. Your thought life is like that, sexually speaking. Jesus said, in Matthew 5, you know, he's kind of upping the bar on the Pharisees. You think you haven't committed adultery? You commit adultery in your mind with your thoughts. So again, being cognizant of where our thought life is going is critically important. Love you guys. Bye.